Have you ever had your entire world shut down by a single set of luxury tires? I did. It wasn't some rusty old pickup blocking the way, it was a sleek black Mercedes S-Class, parked dead center across my driveway in our gated community just outside San Diego. And the owner? None other than Victoria Hargrove, the self-appointed empress of our HOA board. She didn't just follow the rules. She invented them on the fly, turning neighborly bylaws into her personal scepter of spite. Victoria's parking stunt wasn't random. It was her way of flexing after I'd pushed back on her latest fee hike at the last meeting. Deliveries piled up on the curb. My buddies couldn't swing by for a beer without hiking half a mile, and even getting my own SUV out felt like sneaking past a bouncer in an exclusive club. She called it shared street access. I called it a declaration of war on wheels. Victoria figured I'd cave, file some paperwork, and fade into the background like every other resident she'd steamrolled. What she didn't count on was me having a secret weapon from my days in the Service One that weighs 60 tons and doesn't negotiate. Let me take you back to that first infuriating morning. I stepped out onto my porch in Vista Heights, the sun already baking the palm trees lining our cul-de-sac, mug of black coffee steaming in my hand. There it sat, Victoria's Mercedes, all chrome accents and tinted windows, straddling my driveway like it owned the place. I blinked, thinking maybe a valet had botched a drop-off. But none license plate screamed VH1, her initials bold as her ego. My driveway wasn't just any patch of asphalt. It was my private easement, etched in the county records I'd pored over when I bought this fixer-upper 3 years back. No shared access, no HOA loophole, just my right-of-way. I marched across the street to her McMansion, the one with the flawless Bermuda lawn and solar panels she bragged about at every potluck. Victoria answered the door in yoga pants and a designer tank, her blonde bob not a hair out of place, a half-eaten kale smoothie in hand. "Tyler Harlan," she drawled, that fake sweet smile she reserved for board votes. "What's the issue?" "My car's in the community buffer zone, perfectly within guidelines." "Buffer zone," I shot back, keeping my voice level even as my pulse revved. "This is my driveway, Vic private property. Move it before I call a tow." Her laugh was like nails on a chalkboard sharp, rehearsed, the kind that said she'd already won. "Tow it yourself, big guy. The board decides disputes. And last I checked, you're not on the board." She shut the door with a click that echoed louder than a gavel. That day set the tone. My grocery run turned into a comedy of errors bags dumped curbside, me lugging them like a pack mule while her Mercedes mocked me from the driveway. A neighbor, old Mr. Patel next door, shook his head over his fence. "She's been at it with the Thompsons too, Tyler, finding them for unapproved bird feeders. It's not right." I nodded, jaw tight, but inside, fury is building like a summer storm off the Pacific. By week 2, it was a ritual. Every dawn, I'd spot that black beast blocking my exit. Victoria is sipping her latte on her porch swing, eyes flicking my way with that triumphant glint. Friends texted apologies. "Dude, we'll meet at the diner, too much hassle circling your block." Even the UPS guy started leaving notes. "Call for pickup, man. Can't squeeze through." I tried the polite route first, a laminated sign on my mailbox. "Private driveway, no parking. Violators towed at owner's expense." Victoria's response? A sticky note slapped on my door that night. "HOA override. See bylaws section 4.2. Opinion my foot." That was my deed. She was flipping off. I escalated to the cops next. Officer Ramirez rolled up in his cruiser, notepad out, eyeing the Mercedes like it was evidence in a hit and run. I handed over the easement docs, printed fresh from the county site. "She's trespassing, plain and simple. Blocking my only way in and out." He scanned the papers, then shrugged. "Look civil to me, Mr. Harlan. HOA stuff's a gray area. Get a lawyer if you want to push." Victoria, watching from her window, waved like we were old pals. Gray area? It was black and white me blacktop, her blockade. The HOA meeting that Thursday was a circus. I showed up early to the community center, arms loaded with copies of the survey maps, the kind that showed my driveway, snaking clear through to my garage without a whiff of public right-of-way. The room buzzed with about 30 residence retirees in polos, young families dodging sippy cups. I took the floor, voice steady. Folks, this isn't about spite. Victoria's car is on my land every day, turning my home into a parking lot trap. Here's the proof. Murmurs rippled. A few heads nodded. Mrs. Lopez from down the block leaned in. I've seen it, Tyler. It's ridiculous. Then Victoria rose, all poise and pearls, adjusting her reading glasses like a senator prepping a filibuster. Ladies and gentlemen, she cooed, Tyler's passionate. I'll give him that. But these easements are outdated relics. Under our updated covenants last spring, the board has discretion over curb usage for community harmony. Her cronies, that weaselly accountant Greg and the realtor Karen with the fake tan, chimed in like trained seals. Hear, hear. It's for the greater good. The vote? Denied, 7-3. Victoria shot me a wink as I stormed out, the room's sympathy curdling into awkward silence. Greater good? More like her greater grudge. The frustration mounted like unpaid fines. One rainy Tuesday, my roofing contractor bailed mid-job lumber stacked on the street, tarps flapping in the wind because he couldn't back his truck through. I spent hours schlepping wet 2x4s, back screaming, while Victoria's Mercedes sat pristine under her carport. At the next block party, she held court by the grill, regaling everyone with tales of preserving our property values. Tyler's just dramatic, she stage whispered, loud enough for me to hear over the sizzle of burgers. Some people can't handle shared spaces. Laughter tinkled like her wine glass, but I caught the side-dice folks tired of her reign, but too scared of fines to speak up. The breaking point hit on a crisp fall evening. I planned a barbecue for my sister Lena and her 2 boys, flying in from Phoenix for the weekend. Steaks marinating, cooler stocked with IPAs, playlist queued with Springsteen. They pulled up in their minivan, headlights cutting the dusk, only to find the Mercedes sprawled across my driveway like a drunk at closing time. Lena called, voice edged with exhaustion. Ty, we can't get in. Kids are melting down back here. I glanced at the empty patio table, gut twisting. That was a line she'd crossed a dozen times, but this time with family collateral. I crossed the street, rain misting my shirt, and pounded on Victoria's door. She flung it open, Chardonnay in fist, robe cinched like armor. Tyler, to what do I owe the pleasure? Move your damn car. My sister's here with the kids, they can't even pull in. Her smile sharpened. Rules are rules, darling. Designated parking only. Tell them to use the guest lot down the block. It's my driveway, Vic, not your playground. She sipped, savoring. Prove it in court, then. Until then, door schlimm. Echo. I sent Lena home, promised a rain check, and slumped on my porch as thunder grumbled offshore. Weeks of this notes ignored, cops shrugging, board rubber stamping her nonsense. My lawyer buddy quoted me $5,000 for a suit that could drag in next year, with the HOA's deep pockets ready to bury me in motions. Victoria thought she was invincible, her Mercedes a rolling middle finger. But I'd served in the Marines, commanded Bradleys in the sand, and knew what real power felt like. And sometimes, you don't sue the bully, you remind them that physics doesn't care about bylaws. That night, whiskey burning my throat, I dialed an old platoon mate, Marcus Reed. These days, he runs logistics at the San Diego Military Museum, home to relics from every war we'd outlived. Marcus, it's Tyler. Got a situation. I spilled it all, the blockade, the meetings, her smirk. When I pitched the idea, what if we rolled an Abrams over that thing? He paused, then barked a laugh that rattled the line. You're unhinged, Harlan. But hell, we've got a demo coming up. Favor for a brother? Consider it done. The plan coalesced over late-night texts. A historical exhibit on my lot. No permits needed for private display. Risky? Hell yes, fines, arrests. viral infamy. But the image of that Mercedes accordion folded under treads? Priceless payback. Adrenaline hummed as the days ticked down, Victoria none the wiser, her car squatting defiant each morning. Demo day dawned clear, eucalyptus scent sharp in the air. I heard the rumble, first a deep, earth-shaking growl cresting the hill like Judgment Day. Then it crested, the M1 Abrams, olive-drab behemoth on flatbed hauler. Marcus at the helm in faded camis, grinning like a kid with a new toy. The truck eased into my driveway cleared that morning by a quick favor from a neighbor with a winch. Neighbors spilled out. Mr. Patel with binoculars, the Lopez twins snapping pics, even Greg peeking from his blinds. Phones whipped out, whispers flew. Is that a tank? Victoria emerged like a storm cloud, clipboard clutched, face a mask of outrage. Tyler Harlan, this is a residential zone. Remove that monstrosity immediately. I lean on my porch rail, casual as coffee. It's a private demo, Vic Museum outreach. Stick around, you might learn something about boundaries. Her eyes narrowed, darting to the Mercedes parked boldly as ever across my easement. She strode to it, hand on the hood like a talisman. You're bluffing. Touch my car and the board. The Abrams fired up. A bellow that vibrated windows, shook loose leaves from the oaks. The crowd gasped, the kids hooped. Marcus idled it forward, treads chewing gravel in deliberate crunches. Victoria's poise cracked. Stop. This is harassment. But she didn't budge, engine revving in futile challenge. I stepped into the street, voice carrying, last warning, Victoria. Move it, or it moves you. 10 seconds ticked in my head. 9, 8. Her allies froze. The crowd held breath. 7, 6. Shadow engulfed the Mercedes. 5, 4. Horn blared hers, panicked. 3, 2, 1. Marcus nudged the throttle. The Abrams lurched, front glassy kissing bumper. Metal groaned, glass spiderwebbed. Victoria shrieked, fumbling keys, tires screeching as she peeled into reverse too late for dignity, scraping her own curb. The tank halted inches shy, diesel tang hanging heavy. Silence crashed, then cheers erupted. Holy crap, about time. Victoria slumped in her seat, pale as sea foam, pearls askew. She didn't learn. 2 days later, there was again Mercedes mocking me at dawn. This time, no mercy. Marcus was back before noon, Abrams growling to life. Neighbors gathered faster, a carnival crowd with live streams rolling. Victoria bolted out, screaming in her phone, "Get security. Sue him." But the treads rolled inexorably. Contact, crunch of fender folding. Advance, roof buckling, alarms wailing in tinny defeat. The crowd roared as luxury liquefied seats shredded, dash pulverized, that $120,000 symbol of superiority flattened to scrapyard art. Sirens wailed. Cops arrived to pandemonium. Officer Ramirez surveyed the wreckage, my docs in hand, streams playing on half a dozen screens. Ma'am, you were warned. Multiple times. This easement's ironclad your call. Victoria howled vandalism. Ruined me, but the tide had turned. Cheers drowned her. Neighbors clapped like freed captives. By sundown, the board convened emergency. Victoria ousted 9-1, her allies scattering like roaches. Fines reversed, rules rewritten. She fought, of course letters from lawyers, midnight voicemails vowing payback. But without her chariot, she shrank. The for sale sign bloomed in her yard by week's end. Prestige-gated home prime location. Movers came. She supervised in a rental Prius, barking orders to ghosts. As her taillights faded down the boulevard, Vista Heights exhaled. My driveway, wide open. Barbecues flowed. Chats lingered on lawns. Peace, hard won, but real. Looking back, it wasn't the tank that broke her, it was the mirror we held up, showing her empire for the house of cards it was. Bullies like Victoria thrive on silence. Shatter it. and they crumble. I didn't want war, just my slice of the American dream unblocked. But when push comes to 60 tons, sometimes you gotta roll. What about you? Ever tangled with an HOA tyrant who turned rules into revenge? Drop your story in the comment side with the tank or the bylaws. Let's debate. Was Tyler's payback justice or overkill? Your take could spark the next viral showdown.